Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So this one here is getting moved to the front of the pipeline. I am scheduling this for tomorrow. You can see I'm recording this on the 28th. This is getting released on the 29th. Today, PSA pauses value tiers, extends Collectors Club memberships, and launches public backlog tracker. Let's get into this. A lot to dissect. A lot has unfolded today. Kind of happy I'm making this video later in the day because I've got more information to share with you guys that wasn't available earlier when this first came out. So they started off letting us know about 2 weeks ago. This is when they announced the $200 million investment. They increased the turnaround times for all their service levels. They did not increase the price, but essentially they're increasing that turnaround time to better reflect where they were, where their current status was at. And you can see they're stating that they got a 20% spike in submissions, adding another 1.6 million cards to the backlog. So I think their hope with increasing that value bulk to a 50 card minimum and increasing the turnaround times is to one, deter people away from submitting more cards, and to have a more accurate product description on their grading services. But you can see that they got a 20% spike. It did not work. They had to pivot. I do not think that they were planning on having to go this route. I know a lot of people could say, oh, you saw this coming forever. I don't think they wanted to go this route. They shut down most submission levels during COVID a few years ago, and that just completely tanked the card market. Granted, there were a few other things going on that played into that, but I really do not think that they wanted to have to pause all these grading levels. But at a company, you know, they were going to run themselves in the next coming months into a 1-year turnaround time on value bulk, which is just not manageable at all. And as a customer, wouldn't be acceptable to any of us. So they are stopping grading for the value bulk, value plus, and value max Tuesday, June 2nd. So I will give them props here. I get that that's very soon, right? Today is Thursday, so you've got 4 to 5 days to get your cards in. They didn't, unlike most previous announcements, they didn't make this effective immediately for their price increases and turnaround times. Those were all effective immediately. These ones, they're at least giving people a few days to get their cards in, which is nice. So starting on June 2nd, those tiers of grading will be paused. Regular, which costs $80 a card, is going to remain open, as well as all of the cards that are getting submitted at a higher service level, but regular service is also getting expanded to 40 to 50 days. So this originally used to be a 20-day turnaround, and then I think it got expanded to 30, and now it's 40 to 50. So even that's a long turnaround, right? I was sending a couple of cards in at regular at $80 a card because I wanted to get them back in a month. Now you're going to have to wait 2 to 3 months to get those back. A bit longer, but I'm sure I'll still find some cards I'm fine sending off. We just have to adjust our grading. Obviously not going to be grading as much personally, but I am going to still be revising my strategy to determine what I want to do. So, when will they start accepting value submissions again? Current backlog, 10 million cards. Their value tiers will open once we get below 5 million. And I've seen that they're expecting about 4 months to be how long it takes to do this. I believe that PSA grades about 100,000 cards a day based off the reports that I've seen. I do not know if that's entirely correct, but they do grade quite a bit each day. In fact, if I go over to gemrate.com real quick, I did not plan on including this in the video. Let's see here. Items graded yesterday. Yeah, about 100,000 items a day from PSA. So quite a bit. That is quite hefty. But yeah, we're going to have to wait till then to get any of those service that 99.9% of cards are submitted through. Collectors Club membership extensions. So they are pausing. So if you purchased a Collectors Club membership on January 1st, generally that would expire December 31st or next January 1st. However many days it takes for them to reopen the value submission levels, they are going to add that on. So if it takes 120 extra days, You essentially get 4 more months out of it. Your expiration would then be May 1st of the next year. So that's nice. We'll get into some of the people's comments online. People were complaining about, oh, I just paid for this, I want a refund. I get it, it's frustrating, but it's not like if they're down for 6 months, you lose 6 months of your payment. They are pausing your subscription. They did the same thing in COVID. And then 200 million investments moving forward, I don't really care too much about that. Hire graders, train them properly. Don't rush through orders, but get the orders done. It's hard to manage, but that's how business is. You're running, the #1 company for grading in the world, and you're going to need to find solutions to your problems. It doesn't just work to say, hey, we've got a problem. We need solutions. I think PSA is trying to get there. Not as fast as some of us would wish. Some of us would wish they would have planned in the past for this, the past couple of years or so, maybe started expanding a lot more then. They make a lot of money grading. So, all right, we are going to hop right into this. Tag grading. Immediately, everyone is saying, send your cards to Tag. Tag's going to take over. And can't do that. Tag at 2 p.m. When was this released at? I don't know if they timestamped this. This was released in the morning, I think like 10 or 11. Tag, due to incredible demand, Express is now closed. Marked at capacity until further notice. I don't know if people just started spamming their cards to Tag or if they're just reacting to PSA and saying, oh, since PSA did it first, now we can do it so we don't look bad. This is horrible for them. I'll get into some of these comments. Their cheapest grading service is $150 a card now. Limited slots available. I get the time. The timing says 5 business days. If you're overwhelmed, how am I going to expect to get these cards back in 5 business days? That doesn't make any sense to me. And you can see that all these regular ones sold out max capacity. So yeah, Tag is not reasonable to grade with at all. I have to pay $150 a card for a company, and yes, I know a lot of people say it is the future, but you're grading 2,000 cards a day. PSA is grading 100,000 cards a day. They grade 50 times more a day than you. I am not going to go put $150 into grading for any of my cards with Tag right now. If I could still get that same service with PSA for $80, I get that the turnaround time's longer, but how do I know that my $150 is going to be worth it at all? I don't. PSA, I at least know that it is. Someone asking them to expand, they say they will. All tiers are full. No, we have priority on walkthrough. Okay, so you have to spend $150 or $300 a card to get your card graded. Pretty much no one's going to be doing that. You're doing the same. Okay, I don't care about that. Closing Express on the same day PSA shutdown value tiers is the worst possible timing. The hobby has been screaming for a real PSA alternative for years, and you guys just closed the door on the exact collectors who are ready to make the switch. I agree with this take. Tag could have competed. They could have made a push, but you see the same thing last time when grading gets overwhelmed. Everyone says it's time for all these smaller companies to take over PSA. Little do you know, or I guess you do know, but you don't think about, these companies are grading so much less than PSA that when you cut this number down, these aren't submissions, these are cards graded, but when you start filling in all these numbers, and now Beckett, instead of 10K a day, needs to put out 25K, and Tag needs to put out 10K, and SGC needs to put out 5K, their turnaround times get backed up, and they change their pricing and service levels. So that is not a reasonable expectation at all. And you can see here that the only level, basic and standard, have been closed forever. Their Express was the only one that was open, so that was already $60 a card to get it graded. Nobody looks at it, they just comment it. You just fumble your best opportunity. Yeah, so Tag, you need to figure it out if you ever want to compete. You can't be grading 2,000 cards a day. That's not going to work for you. CGC, here's a post from Neo Cards and Comics. CGC has updated and extended turnaround times. I'm not sure exactly how much it was. There was another post I saw that said exactly how much it was. Bulk has increased from 90 to 120 days. Economy has increased from 45 to 65. And you can see here those updates on their website. Granted, the prices are pretty cheap, so that might be good for people. But the CGC cards and slabs do not hold close to the same premium as PSA. Their sole advantage was the turnaround time advantage. and they do not have that anymore. So CGC is out. Let's go ahead and read through some of the comments before we close out here on what people are having to say on PSA's post. A lot of replies, and you can see they posted this on X at 1:15. I think that they posted on their website maybe a little earlier than this. But yeah, they announced this first compared to the other grading companies. All right, so first main question, do you need to receive new submissions by June 2nd or just have them entered in the portal? This is probably the most important question for everyone here. As long as you have submitted it online by June 2nd, you are okay. So I am making sure that on June 1st or June 2nd, I get my last cards that I want to at the value level submitted. And you can ship them off June 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever. They usually give you like a month before that they need to receive them within before your order becomes invalid. So by next Tuesday, get your submission in. You guys have time. You're probably not going to be able to build out a bulk submission at 50 cards, but there's no card minimum for the value level at $33. If you have 5 cards, you can send them at that level. Let's see if there's anything else that we want to go over. Submissions through GameStop. Will these also be paused? It took them a while for them to respond to this. When I was first looking at it, this was the only comment they weren't responding about was GameStop. So I haven't actually seen this. I'm curious to see. Service levels affects all partners, including GameStop. So GameStop is